Silent reckoning. The anomaly appeared on deep space monitoring stations simultaneously across the globe. At first, it was dismissed as an instrument error, a glitch in the system. But as the hours passed, the readings became clearer, more defined, and undeniably threatening. Something was approaching Earth, and it wasn't a natural celestial phenomenon. Dr. Eleanor Chen, lead astronomer at the International Space Observatory, was the first to recognize the pattern. What initially appeared as scattered signals coalesced into something that sent chills down her spine, a formation, a military formation. "This isn't random," she whispered to herself, her fingers flying across the touchscreen as she enhanced the imagery. "These are ships, hundreds of them." Within hours, the United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session. Representatives from every major world power gathered in New York. Faces grim as satellite imagery confirmed Dr. Chen's assessment. An alien armada was approaching Earth, moving with purpose and precision that indicated intelligence and, more worryingly, intent. General Victor Okafor, commander of the United Earth Defense Initiative, stood before the assembly, his usually stoic expression betraying a hint of concern. "We estimate first contact within 72 hours, he stated, his deep voice resonating through the chamber. "Based on their trajectory and speed, they'll reach lunar orbit by Thursday. We need to decide on our response now." The room erupted into chaos, some advocating for immediate military preparation, others insisting on attempting peaceful communication. The Russian delegate pounded his fist on the table. "We must show strength. Mobilize every nuclear asset we have." The Chinese representative disagreed. "That would be suicide. We don't know their capabilities." Amidst the arguing, Dr. Chen stepped forward, clearing her throat. The room gradually fell silent. "There's something else you should know," she said, activating the central display. "They've been transmitting the same signal over and over. We've decoded it." The screen flickered, and a message appeared. "Prepare for ASSIMIL IDON. Resistance is FUTIL. Surrender your world." The silence that followed was deafening. President Elena Vasquez of the United States stood slowly. "It seems diplomacy may not be an option after all. General Okafor, what are our defensive capabilities?" The general's expression remained grim. "Limited, against what we're facing. Our most advanced weapons systems might damage their smaller vessels, but their flagship." He pointed to a massive structure at the center of the alien formation. "That thing is the size of Manhattan. Our conventional weapons would be like throwing stones at a tank." "Then we need unconventional weapons," the British Prime Minister stated. All eyes turned to Dr. Arjun Singh, head of the Quantum Defense Project, a classified international initiative that had been operating in secret for over a decade. Dr. Singh adjusted his glasses nervously. "Project Thunderbolt isn't ready for deployment. We've only conducted simulations, never a live test." "How long would you need?" President Vasquez asked. "Ideally, months." But Singh glanced at the display showing the approaching fleet. "We could attempt a field prototype in 48 hours. "You have 36, General Okafor replied. As the meeting concluded, a global state of emergency was declared. Across the planet, military forces mobilized while civilians were evacuated from coastal cities and major population centers. The world held its breath as the alien fleet drew closer, their massive ships now visible through amateur telescopes. In a fortified bunker beneath the Swiss Alps, Dr. Singh's team worked frantically to prepare Project Thunderbolt, a quantum disruptor designed to interfere with advanced propulsion and weapons systems. It was humanity's best hope, but it remained untested and dangerously unstable. "If we amplify the resonance frequency beyond safety parameters, we risk creating a cascade failure," warned Dr. Mailin, the project's lead engineer. "And if we don't, we risk losing Earth," Singh replied, his fingers moving rapidly across holographic interfaces. Sometimes you have to gamble everything on one roll of the dice. 36 hours later, the alien fleet entered Earth's atmosphere. Their ships descended through cloud layers, massive silhouettes darkening skies across continents. They positioned themselves over major cities: New York, Moscow, Beijing, London, Tokyo, hovering silently, a display of overwhelming technological superiority. Earth's initial military response was swift but ineffective. Fighter jets scrambled worldwide, only to be swatted from the sky by invisible energy fields. Missile launches from submarines and land-based installations met the same fate, detonating harmlessly against shimmering barriers surrounding each alien vessel. Then came the demonstration. A single beam of light, blindingly bright, descended from the flagship onto an uninhabited island in the Pacific. When the light faded, the island was gone, not destroyed, but seemingly erased from existence, leaving only a perfect circle of calm water where it had stood for millions of years. The message was clear: surrender or face annihilation. In the Swiss bunker, alarms blared as technicians rushed to finalize Project Thunderbolt. Dr. Singh's face was drawn with exhaustion, but his eyes burned with determination. "We've identified a pattern in their shield modulation," he explained to General Okafor via secure video link. "Every 97 seconds, there's a microsecond fluctuation, a vulnerability we can exploit." "Will Thunderbolt work?" the general asked bluntly. Singh hesitated, then nodded. "Theoretically, but there's more." He lowered his voice. "We've discovered something in their transmission patterns. They're not just communicating with each other. They're receiving instructions from somewhere else. Whoever's aboard those ships, they're not the ones in charge." "You're saying they're what? Drones? Puppets?" "I'm saying there might be a central control mechanism. If we can disrupt it, even momentarily, we might have a chance," Okafor finished. As the alien fleet positioned itself for what appeared to be a coordinated strike, humanity prepared its response. Project Thunderbolt was loaded onto stealth aircraft and submarines positioned strategically around the globe. Special Forces teams equipped with experimental quantum-shielded armor prepared for what might be a suicide mission, boarding the alien vessels during the brief window when Thunderbolt might disable their defenses. In command centers worldwide, military leaders coordinated what would likely be humanity's final stand. But beneath the Swiss Alps, Dr. Singh made a startling discovery that changed everything. "Their communication protocol," he muttered, staring at streams of data flowing across his screen. "It's not alien at all. It's based on mathematics we understand, algorithms we've developed ourselves." Almost as if. His eyes widened as realization struck. "General, I need to speak to the Security Council immediately. I know why they're here, and I know how to stop them." As the alien fleet prepared to fire, humanity held its collective breath. The next few minutes would determine the fate of the entire species. The awakening storm. The alien fleet hung in Earth's skies like executioners, their massive ships casting ominous shadows over cities worldwide. Their ultimatum had expired, and the planet's destruction seemed imminent. In the hushed silence of the UN Emergency Command Center, Dr. Singh's voice crackled through the speakers. "The aliens are using a quantum entanglement network for instantaneous communication," he explained, his words rushing together with urgency. "But here's the key. It's nearly identical to the prototype system we developed at CERN 3 years ago." General Okafor's brow furrowed. "What are you suggesting, Doctor?" "They're not just similar, General. They're identical. These aren't random aliens. They've studied us, intimately, for years. And I think I know why." As Singh shared his theory, expressions around the table shifted from confusion to shock, and finally, to grim determination. "You're certain?" President Vasquez asked. "Absolutely," Singh replied. "And it means Project Thunderbolt can be modified to not just disrupt their shields, but completely sever their command structure." "Do it," ordered Okafor. Across the globe, a plan formed with remarkable speed. While the world's attention had been focused on the visible alien threat, something else had been happening behind the scenes. For decades, Earth's governments had maintained a secret, a unified defense program that went beyond anything publicly acknowledged. Hidden bases activated beneath oceans and mountains, orbital platforms that had been disguised as communications satellites revealed their true nature, and in hangars buried deep within restricted military zones, aircraft unlike anything seen before prepared for launch. The alien fleet, confident in their superiority, began their coordinated attack. Energy weapons powered up, targeting Earth's major population centers. But just as they prepared to fire, something unexpected happened. From the ocean depths, massive structures rose, platforms housing advanced missile systems that had been developed in secret by a coalition of world powers. From underground bunkers, electromagnetic pulse generators activated, sending targeted waves toward the alien vessels. And from hidden mountain bases, squadrons of aircraft launched, fighters with capabilities far beyond what humanity had ever publicly revealed. The aliens' first sign that something was wrong came when their weapons failed to fire. The second was the sudden disruption of their shields as Project Thunderbolt activated globally, targeting the precise frequencies Singh had identified. The third sign was the overwhelming response from Earth's hidden defenses. Major Helena Reyes, commanding one of the secret squadrons, led the first wave. Her voice was calm over the tactical channel as her advanced fighter approached the alien flagship. "Remember your training," she told her pilots. "Target their propulsion systems first, then communications. We only have a 90-second window before their systems adapt." Her fighters streaked toward the massive alien vessel, employing evasive patterns that seemed to confuse the enemy tracking systems. When they fired, it wasn't with conventional missiles, but with quantum-tipped projectiles that phased through the weakened alien shields before rematerializing inside, a technology the world hadn't known existed until this moment. Explosions blossomed across the alien flagship as secondary systems failed. On the ground, mobile units deployed particle beam weapons that sliced through alien hull materials with surprising effectiveness. Submarines launched advanced torpedoes that rose from the oceans on controlled plasma jets, targeting the underside of hovering alien craft. In command centers worldwide, military leaders coordinated the counterattack with practiced precision that suggested this scenario had been rehearsed many times. It became apparent that Earth's apparent technological inferiority had been, at least partially, a carefully maintained illusion. Admiral Weijong directed Pacific operations from a submarine command vessel. "Deploy the orbital defense grid," he ordered calmly. In space, satellites that had appeared dormant suddenly activated, revealing weapon systems that locked onto alien vessels attempting to retreat to orbit. The trap was closing. Aboard the alien flagship, chaos reigned as systems failed and commands went unanswered. The ship's commander, a tall humanoid figure with grayish skin, watched in disbelief as Earth's military response overwhelmed his forces. "Impossible," he hissed. Their technological level was assessed at barely pre-spaceflight. "This cannot be." His second-in-command scrolled through rapidly updating damage reports. "Sir, we've lost 30% of the fleet. Communication with the Overmind is severed. We're receiving requests to surrender from multiple vessel commanders." On Earth, Dr. Singh monitored the situation from his bunker, coordinating Thunderbolt's effects across the battlefield. "It's working better than we anticipated," he reported. "Their entire command structure is disintegrating." General Okafor nodded grimly. "Now for Phase 2. Special Forces teams, equipped with advanced boarding technology and powered armor suits, launched from Earth's surface toward damaged alien vessels. Their mission: capture intact alien technology and, if possible, take prisoners for interrogation. Commander Sarah Hassan led the assault on the flagship, her team moving with practiced efficiency through its corridors. "Remember, non-lethal approaches where possible," she instructed. "We need answers more than we need bodies." They encountered sporadic resistance, but the alien crews seemed disorganized without central coordination. Many surrendered immediately, apparently shocked by humanity's unexpected technological prowess. Within hours, the tide had decisively turned. Alien vessels were either disabled, captured, or in retreat. The few ships that attempted to flee Earth orbit found their escape routes blocked by previously hidden defense platforms. In the UN Command Center, leaders watched in stunned silence as reports of victory flowed in from around the world. What had begun as a seemingly hopeless last stand had transformed into an overwhelming triumph. President Vasquez turned to General Okafor. "I think it's time for us to deliver an ultimatum of our own." The alien flagship commander was brought to a secure facility for negotiations. Stripped of his weapons and surrounded by Earth's military leaders, he seemed smaller, less imposing than expected. "You deceived us," he stated flatly, his translated voice tinged with bitterness. "Your world was marked for harvesting based on technological assessment. You were supposed to be defenseless." General Okafor leaned forward. "We learned long ago that appearing weak while maintaining hidden strength is the best defense. Your invasion force was detected years ago, giving us ample time to prepare. The collective will send more ships when we fail to report back," the alien threatened. Dr. Singh, who had joined the negotiation team, smiled thinly. "No, they won't. We've analyzed your quantum entanglement communications. The Thunderbolt didn't just disrupt it. It reversed the signal path. Your collective now believes Earth is a radioactive ruin, unsuitable for harvesting for at least a millennium." The alien commander's eyes widened. "Impossible. That level of quantum manipulation is beyond your understanding of our capabilities." President Vasquez finished for him. "Yes, that was the point. Now shall we discuss the terms of your complete and unconditional surrender?" In the days that followed, humanity's true technological state was gradually revealed to its citizens. The secret programs, the hidden defense networks, the advanced weapons systems, all developed in coordination between nations that publicly appeared at odds with one another. "We maintained the illusion of division," explained the Chinese premier at a global address, "because unity is visible from space. Appearing fractured and technologically primitive was our first line of defense against threats exactly like this one." The alien ships, now captured and being studied, provided insights that would advance Earth's technology even further. The prisoners revealed the existence of a vast interstellar empire that targeted developing worlds for resource harvesting, an empire that would now reassess its approach to the seemingly primitive blue planet. Dr. Singh, reviewing data from the captured vessels, made another discovery. Their mapping systems contain coordinates for hundreds of other developing worlds, planets that may soon face the same threat we did. General Okafor nodded thoughtfully. "Then perhaps it's time for Earth to take a more active role in galactic affairs." As humanity celebrated its victory and began integrating the captured technology, plans were already forming. Earth would no longer hide its capabilities. Instead, it would emerge onto the galactic stage not as a victim, but as a protector, a world that had learned through millennia of internal conflict how to fight, how to survive, and ultimately, how to win against overwhelming odds. The day humanity unleashed its true military power marked not just the salvation of one world, but potentially the beginning of hope for countless others across the stars.